The theater is already glowing like a living heartbeat, every light trembling with anticipation, every seat filled with people who came to witness greatness, never expecting that greatness might come wrapped in the quiet shoulders of a man most would walk past without seeing. The stage crew moves with practiced precision, the camera lenses tighten their focus, and somewhere beyond the blinding beams of stage light, a judge known for his ruthless honesty leans forward, curious in spite of himself. The host calls the next act with the dramatic breath that audiences live for, and the name echoes across the hall like a spark waiting to ignite, light wire. But the person who steps onto the stage is not a sleek dancer, not a young viral sensation, not a polished superstar dressed for victory. It is an aging janitor. His uniform is simple, his hands roughened by years of scrubbing, mopping, polishing, repairing, years of making things shine for others while his own dreams gathered dust. Under the harsh light, even the faint scent of cleaning soap clings to him like a memory he cannot escape. He stands there, small against the overwhelming scale of the stage, and yet somehow the room still begins to quiet, as if people instinctively sense there is more to him than meets the eye. He tries to smile, but it trembles. The microphone is placed before him, tall and unfamiliar, and as he lifts his head, his eyes scan the endless sea of faces, curious faces, doubtful faces, amused faces. Some people lean forward, others already prepare to misjudge him. There is a flicker of whispering among the judges. One tilts their head. Another blinks. Simon's brow draws downward, skepticism mingling with intrigue. This man doesn't fit the stage. He doesn't look like the dream. Yet there is something about the way he stands, not proud, not defeated, just present, that commands attention without asking for it. His voice is soft when he speaks, and that softness silences the echoes even further. He doesn't deliver a rehearsed introduction. He doesn't brag. He doesn't hype himself. He simply says, almost like confiding to a friend, for 20 years, I cleaned these kinds of stages. I swept after shows ended. I picked up confetti that fell for someone else's moment. I fixed lights so others could shine brighter. Tonight, I wanted to see what it feels like to stand where dreams are born, instead of sweeping them away. There is a shift in the room. Some people laugh out of disbelief, because who expects a janitor to perform something monumental? Some soften instantly, already rooting for him. Others hold back. But what no one can deny is that something real, something deeply human, just touched the air. It isn't pity. It isn't shock. It's respect they didn't realize they had until they felt it. He whispers thank you, barely audible, to the technician who gives him a reassuring nod. He lowers his head for a moment, as if saying a silent prayer or remembering someone important. Then the stage plunges into darkness. Total darkness. The audience gasps. The judges lean forward instinctively. The silence isn't empty, it thunders, it vibrates, it pulses with emotion waiting to exist. Then, like a star being born in the vast blackness, a faint glow appears on his chest. A tiny, trembling light. Slowly, like hope growing inside a tired heart, more lights flicker to life on his suit. Lines of glowing wire trace his form, outlining a silhouette that suddenly feels dreamlike instead of ordinary. He lifts his hands and the lights respond, flowing and dancing with every movement like living energy. Then the music begins. Not loud. Not dramatic at first. Gentle. Human. The kind of melody that whispers memories back into your soul. And in the glow of shifting lights, he begins to move. His body does not dance like a trained professional. It moves like someone whose life story has shaped every muscle. The lights on him tell a story without needing words, a story of a young man with big dreams once bright and thrilling. The glowing lines shape illusions around him, the outline of a small apartment, the silhouette of a laughing partner beside him, the sparkle of early joy. The audience watches in stunned silence as the light becomes narrative, as if the stage has become a living memory. Then the lights change. They dim into colder tones, flickering like struggling hope. The music shifts into something aching. The glowing illusions show hospital rooms, long nights, empty hallways where footsteps echo loneliness. His movements slow, heavy, weighted by invisible burdens. The audience feels it. They don't just see a performance, they feel a life unfolding. They don't see a janitor anymore. They see a husband. They see a man who once held the world in his hands and then had to let parts of it go. He stumbles slightly in the performance, not because he lacks skill, but because the story demands vulnerability. His head lowers, the light on his chest flickers like a wounded heart. On the judges' panel, faces soften. A woman in the audience quietly wipes her eyes. Even Simon's expression changes, not pity, but a rare kind of admiration for courage that isn't loud or showy, but quietly powerful. Then comes the moment where the story shifts again. The music builds. Slowly, hope returns to the glowing suit, not in a perfect storm of color, but in gentle pulses, like a heart remembering how to beat again. The lights form the image of a little girl's hand reaching for his. The audience inhales sharply. He lifts his head. The suit glows brighter, layer by layer. He moves with new purpose, with determination. The light now isn't entertainment, it is endurance. It is love. It is the promise someone made before life tested it. All around the auditorium, something miraculous happens, silence becomes emotion. Emotion becomes connection. Connection becomes unity. People stop seeing a talent show and start seeing themselves. Their families. Their struggles. Their sacrifices. Their own lights that flickered once in darkness but refused to die. As the final notes approach, the entire stage erupts in brilliant gold and white light. The wires on his suit blaze like a living constellation. And then, the stage suddenly darkens again. Completely. Only one light remains. A single, glowing heart on his chest. It pulses gently. Then slowly, meaningfully, he taps it with his hand. Not for applause. Not for sympathy. But as a promise, love endures. Sacrifice matters. Humanity means shining not just when the world celebrates you, but when it needs you. For a beat, there is nothing. No sound. No reaction. Just stunned breath held by thousands of lungs at once. Then someone stands. Then another. Then the entire room rises like a wave, applause crashing forward, tears mixing with smiles, cheers breaking through silence like sunlight tearing apart storm clouds. The audience isn't just clapping for a performance. They are honoring a life. They are honoring every unseen worker, every silent caretaker, every parent who sacrificed, every human being who gave up dreams so someone else could keep theirs. He doesn't bow dramatically. He doesn't grandstand. He simply lifts his hand to his heart and nods with humility so deep it humbles the room that already adores him. On the judges' panel, eyes that usually sparkle with appraisal now glisten with emotion. One judge covers their mouth, overwhelmed. Another claps without stopping. And then there is Simon, quiet, thoughtful, looking at this man not as a contestant, but as someone who walked through life's storms and somehow carried sunshine in his pocket anyway. In that moment, before any decision is announced, before any verdict is spoken, before any golden button even glows, something has already happened. A man who spent years cleaning stages finally cleaned something much bigger. He cleaned hearts. He wiped dust off hope. He polished the idea that ordinary people can hold extraordinary light. And as the cheers continue to swell around him, he closes his eyes for a moment, just to feel it. Not fame. Not victory. But belonging. For the first time in years, the stage he once served now serves him back, bathing him in warmth, dignity, and love. Backstage is a world of whispered prayers, trembling hands, forgotten hopes suddenly remembering how to breathe again. The curtain falls slowly behind him as he steps away from the roar of applause, and it feels unreal. For 20 years, he walked backstage as a man with a mop and a bucket. Today, he walks back as someone people are clapping for, cheering for, crying for. But his steps are not proud. They are humble. They carry history. They carry weight. They carry love. A crew member rushes to him smiling through tears, handing him water like he is someone precious now. "You are incredible," she says breathlessly, as if afraid the compliment might shatter if spoken too loud. He smiles softly, grateful but grounded, as though he is still unsure he deserves all of this. Where did you learn to do something like that?" she finally asks, not because she needs information, but because she needs to understand the soul behind the light. He looks down at his trembling hands, hands worn not by applause but by work. Hands that have scrubbed floors, tightened bolts, fixed lights, held loved ones, wiped tears, and held on when life tried to pry them open and steal everything he cherished. His voice is gentle when he speaks, but it carries years inside it. "I didn't learn it on a stage," he says quietly. "I learned it in life." He takes a slow breath, and the world seems to pause with him. Every light backstage feels softer now, as if listening too. He begins to speak, not dramatically, not like a performance, but like a confession the world has finally earned the right to hear. "Years ago," he says, "I wasn't a janitor. I wasn't someone people forgot they'd seen. My wife and I, we performed in small places. Tiny street corners. Community events. Anywhere people needed a moment of wonder. She loved light. She believed it could tell stories the heart never forgets." His eyes drift somewhere far away, to another time, another life, another universe made of laughter and possibility. In his memory, she appears, smiling, full of warmth, eyes glowing brighter than the lights she wired with her bare hands. She wasn't rich. She wasn't famous. But she was extraordinary. She built glowing suits out of nothing but scrap wires, hope, and imagination. They danced in the dark because they couldn't always afford big stages, and somehow darkness always became beautiful around her. He remembers late nights filled with music in their tiny apartment, turning the living room into a rehearsal space, light reflecting against walls that held dreams stronger than wealth ever could. He remembers burning his fingers while she laughed and said, "Light hurts a little before it shines." He remembers promising her he would always protect their dream. But dreams get tested. She grew weak. Not slowly. Not gently. Life didn't ask permission. Hospitals replaced rehearsal rooms. Medical monitors replaced music. Worry replaced applause. Bills stacked higher than hope sometimes could. But he stayed. He worked every job he could find. He scrubbed, fixed, carried, lifted, and never complained. Because love doesn't ask, "Is this fair?" Love simply asks, "What do you need?" And he answered again and again, "Everything I have. Everything I am. Take it. Just stay." But life doesn't bargain. There came a day when he held her hand and felt it grow still. Not empty. Never empty. Just still. As if the world paused to honor her. As if even time itself wanted to hold her for one more second. He didn't cry loudly. He didn't break dramatically. He simply held on. Because how do you let go of someone who taught you that even light comes from broken things? He shows the producer the pendant he wears around his neck, small and worn but priceless beyond measure. Inside is her picture, smiling like the world was always kind, even when it wasn't. He presses it with gentle reverence. "She told me once," he whispers, "that if the world ever makes you feel invisible, remember, someone loved you so strongly that they saw every part of you." She said light would find me again. So he kept working. He took a janitor's job because love didn't leave money behind, only memories. He watched countless performers chase dreams across stages he cleaned. He laughed with them secretly. He believed in them quietly. Sometimes, he whispered advice to nervous contestants in empty hallways, even when none of them knew who he really was. He fixed broken chords and dim lights like a man tending to tiny stars. He never complained when no one thanked him. Backstage now, a few tears fall silently down his face. Not sadness. Not regret. Just release. Suddenly, footsteps rush toward him. Familiar footsteps. A voice trembles, "Dad." He turns. There she is. His daughter. No longer the little girl who once fell asleep watching her parents rehearse. Not the child who used to laugh when lights flickered. She is older now, strong, beautiful, eyes shining with tears that reflect everything he ever sacrificed. She runs into his arms like a memory returning home. He holds her like a miracle. "You did it," she whispers shakily. You finally let yourself shine again." He tries to speak but emotion steals his breath. He holds her like the last missing piece of his soul has clicked back into place. She squeezes him tighter. "She would be so proud of you," she says, voice cracking. "Mom always said you were the brightest light, even when you worked in the shadows." Crew members look away, overwhelmed. Some wipe their eyes. Because this is no longer just a talent show. This is life showing everyone what love looks like when it refuses to give up. He smiles through tears. "I didn't do this to be famous," he confesses softly. "I did it because I wanted you to see. I never stopped honoring her. I never stopped shining. I just forgot to shine for myself too." His daughter shakes her head gently. "No, Dad. You didn't forget. You were busy being our strength. Being responsible. Being love." She takes his shaking hand. "Now it's your turn to be celebrated." A few production workers step closer. Some nod respectfully. Some simply stand still in silent admiration. In this moment, he isn't a janitor. He isn't an act. He isn't just a contestant on a show. He is a father. He is a husband who loved beyond circumstance. He is a man who refused to break when breaking was easier. He is the embodiment of sacrifice, humility, honor, and love. And quietly, unknowingly, he has just changed how everyone watching will see the world. Back on stage, the audience is still buzzing, still emotional, still replaying every second in their hearts. The judges sit in silence, processing what they just witnessed. One of them wipes away tears discreetly. Another stares ahead in awe. And Simon. Simon isn't speaking yet. He's thinking. Really thinking. Because what just happened wasn't entertainment. It was truth. It was humanity. It was the kind of story that stays with you long after the lights go out. Backstage, the man finally laughs softly, relief and gratitude spilling out together. His daughter holds his arm proudly. They don't know yet what the judges will decide. They don't know yet whether the golden buzzer will fall. But for the first time in years, victory isn't about winning anymore. Victory already happened. Victory is a daughter proud of her father. Victory is a love story still glowing even after goodbye. Victory is a man once invisible now seen. Victory is hope returning home. And somewhere within the roar of clapping hearts, somewhere inside the golden haze of emotions filling the air, there is a quiet certainty. This is only the beginning.